and we actually ended up draping the liner over the pond.
As you can see, this house is under construction with their pond. Wow. We had audio issues, so I'm doing a voiceover. But here I am in Florida at a house that is currently under construction with an already built pond. With me is Steven and Nick of Florida Puddle Pros. This pond that we're about to go see is this homeowner's second pond. You can see the first one a bit later in this video. Actually took the liner and put it up and over this palm tree. Wait until you see this pond. It's enclosed with a pool and bar area. Let's go check it out. As you can see, this house is under construction. Fired up the glass spillway bowls. Really cool. But this is not the only cool thing in this backyard. It is an Aquascape ecosystem water feature, and the homeowner has their chairs set up because this is where they actually love to sit and enjoy. Look at this magnificent kind of contemporary edged koi pond out here with a unique fountain and a beautiful overall layout and design inside in a lanai with an outdoor living space. And this is their favorite part of the house because it's got an Aquascape ecosystem koi pond. Look at how clear that water is. A nice natural looking waterfalls. And this is really cool. The boys at Florida Puddle Pros actually buried the biofalls because they didn't need extra elevation. And it just flows down through this natural stream. And this is how this homeowner is living the Aquascape lifestyle in Orlando, Florida.
We built a custom medium pond. So we went from a standard pool deck with some nice accents to an entire living space. So this individual lives the aquascape lifestyle at their current residence, and this house is being fitted for their new lifestyle. One of the first things to come in was the koi pond. The screen enclosure used to fit right here, and now the enclosure has been expanded and the pond is in play. We had a bird's eye view, a desired element to it. We are inside the enclosure. We have a pretty controlled environment. There's really no fish caves. This way these fish are not enticed to hide. They're gonna come right up. Tropical fish were one of the key elements on this feature. We went extra deep than standard. We went to 3 feet deep. That gives us more insulation, making the pond a little deeper. Intake bay, those components are deeper, so we've got insulation. A lot of machine set fieldstone boulders with the intimate setting that we knew was coming into play. This was all flat back here. Our excavation brought this grade up for the seating area. With this intimate interaction, I wanted our biofalls to be sunk down as low as I could get it. Part of the construction of this feature was hit with some pretty disarray. Given the enclosure, the gutter was not currently up. It was in the middle of the rainy season. The grade was all wonky, and so we got excavation done, got hit with heavy rain, and we had to come back in and essentially reshape the entire pond because of that rain. Sandy conditions, a little bit of water is going to cause for a washout. A few other things to note: this feature does have lock line fittings for a jetting system. So we have a designated pump for the biofalls, and then we have a second pump for our vertical element there and the jetting as well. We've got a 4 to 8 AquaSurge pump providing our waterfalls, and we have a 2 to 4 providing our jetting and our vertical element. There's lights integrated into the wall, and this wall was another element that was a high consideration to what we were trying to achieve. Having a formal edge, having some cohesive flow so that the paver work transitioned using the coping to transition into paver work. You would never know it if I didn't tell you, but the color tone on the pavers from side to side, because this was done sometime before, isn't a match, but you would never know because the way that that transition was presented. Another element that is fun and worth noting is frame rocks on the end of these walls are large. They go all the way down, and the profile cuts that were made are some pretty tight profile cuts. The couple that live here, one is a fish hobbyist, has always had aquariums. That's what introduced him into having a pond. His wife is a landscape architect, which is a master gardener. Landscaping by nature is her thing. This thing is going to just fill in nice and lush as the time passes and things progress. This project I call Mike 2.0 truly is one of my favorite for its particular reasons. Sitting here in this spot, anybody would understand why.
If you see that palm tree and you look down, there is a pond around it. They actually took the liner and put it up and over this palm tree and made an absolutely unique and cool kind of moat around the pond tree. So this was Florida Puddle Pro's very first pond that they installed down here in Orlando, Florida. And look at how cool it is, and that sound right next to their seating area right here, where we were just sitting and having lunch and relaxing and enjoying living the aquascape lifestyle.
But this project, there was no pavers, no fire pit, but there were some palm trees. And so this palm tree was decided to stay, and we actually ended up draping the liner over the pond. This is a Aquascape ecosystem kit pond, and it has performed beautifully. We had this unique layout with our biofalls being in the backdrop, with an elevated shelf that creates our final drop down here, using power heads to help with circulation, and the skimmer being off to the side. This pond also was brought with the absolute closest element that we could get for the seating, and just a nice subtle falls, loud enough to be heard, gentle enough to not overtake the space. Currently, you may notice there are no fish in here. Mike has a second resident I refer to as Mike 2.0, where we built a larger custom pond for him. These are woodlands right here, so predation was of concern, and they have had a few issues. That's what the little sprayer is for. But this system has just simply performed very well. Been in the ground now for 3 years, and the most rewarding thing for myself was one afternoon I came back to meet with Mike to go over some other details. He had his feet kicked up, literally passed out right here next to the pond. As this one guy says all the time, I too get to say I do love my job.